All right, today we're diving into a piece of tech that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but I promise you it's very, very real. It's called the digital twin. We're going to explore how this one idea is about to completely shake up one of the oldest industries on the planet, construction, and we'll see how it could solve problems we barely even knew we had.
Okay, so let's unpack this statement for a second. This right here, this single sentence, it absolutely hits the nail on the head. It points to this huge, invisible problem that's quietly causing chaos in construction. The idea is that even with all our amazing technology, we're basically working in the dark, creating this digital mess that leads to very real and very expensive physical screw-ups.
So, this digital mess, what does that actually look like on a real construction site? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the exact problem that digital twins were created to fix.
I want you to just imagine you're a project manager for a minute. You've got your architectural drawings in one program, the geographical data in another, and updates from the actual site are flying in from everywhere. Emails, texts, you name it. It's practically impossible to see the whole picture, which of course leads to confusion, costly mistakes, and so much rework. And here's the kicker. Once the building is finally up and running, you have almost zero insight into how it's actually performing. Okay, so if the big problem is that everything is scattered all over the place, well, the solution has to be bringing it all together, right? And that, my friends, is where the digital twin comes in. It sounds all futuristic, but the core idea is actually pretty simple. It's about creating one single source of truth for everything.
And here is the absolute key. The magic word is real time. See, a digital twin isn't just some static 3D model that you look at once and then forget. No. Think of it more like a living, breathing digital copy that is always constantly being updated with data from the real thing. It connects every single phase of a project's life, from the very first napkin sketch all the way to its daily operations, maybe decades down the line.
So how do you actually make one of these living copies? Well, you need a few key ingredients. First, you've got BIM, which is basically the deep, detailed DNA of the building itself. Then you add GIS, which tells you exactly where that building sits in the world, its neighborhood. Next, you bring it to life with IoT, the Internet of Things, sensors that feed it real-time data, kind of like a nervous system. And finally, you need a way to actually see and interact with it all using things like augmented and virtual reality.
So we've got the ingredients, but how does it all get mixed together in the real world? Let's use a platform called TwinTech as a perfect example to see how this all actually works.
And this slide right here perfectly captures the whole story. It's the ultimate before and after. On the left, you see the old way, just a chaotic mess of disconnected systems, terrible coordination, and mistakes that cost a fortune. But then you look to the right, to the new way. It's clarity. It's one single platform that gives you total control over the whole process, ensuring things get done right the first time, all while watching it happen in real time. It's a massive shift from just reacting to problems to actually preventing them from ever happening.
And this is the core promise, isn't it? One platform, full lifecycle control. This isn't about just adding another piece of software to the pile. It's about replacing the entire messy pile with one single powerful platform that gives you command over a project from start to finish, and then some.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually mean for the people doing the work? The architect, the construction crew, the city planner? Let's jump into some real-world examples.
So let's start with the most obvious place, the construction site itself. We all know the traditional way can lead to on-site arguments and expensive delays. So how does a digital twin fix that?
Well, the biggest win is that you find problems before they become physical. In the digital model, you can see that the plumbing is on a collision course with the electrical system, and you can fix it with a mouse click. In the real world, that same mistake means tearing down a wall. It's a no-brainer. You can track exactly what's happening on site against the plan in real time, which means you can slash those costly errors and deliver projects faster and more accurately.
But here's the cool part. The benefits don't just stop when the building is finished. What about actually selling the property? Traditionally, you're stuck with flat blueprints and maybe some fancy artist drawings. A digital twin changes that game completely. Yeah, for sales teams, this is a total game changer. Instead of just looking at a floor plan, you can hand a potential buyer a VR headset and let them literally walk through their future home before a single brick has even been laid. It's an incredible marketing edge, it helps developers plan better, and it gets the property ready for all the smart home tech that's just around the corner. In a crowded market, that's a huge, huge advantage.
So we've gone from the construction site to the sales office.
But the true mind-bending potential of this technology really clicks when you zoom out, like way, way out. What happens when you make a digital twin not just of one building, but of an entire city? This is where the scale just becomes mind-boggling. City planners can have a living digital replica of their entire urban area. They can monitor critical things like water and power grids in real time. They can simulate the impact of a new subway line before they spend billions on it. They can even model disaster responses and manage traffic flow. This lines up perfectly with all those government smart city initiatives we keep hearing about. So that brings up a really good question. Why is this specific tech gaining so much steam in a place like Malaysia, right here, right now? Well, it's really a perfect storm when you think about it. You've got major cities like KL, Selangor, and Putrajaya all pushing these big smart city projects. There's growing pressure from everyone to be more sustainable and environmentally friendly. On top of that, there's a huge government push for what they call IR 4.0, basically digitizing everything. And all of this is happening in a market that's still seeing tons of growth in construction and property. It's a massive window of opportunity. And here's the crucial point. The quote says it all. Malaysia doesn't yet have an integrated digital twin ecosystem leader. The need is obvious, the timing is perfect, but the market is still wide open. There isn't a big dominant player who's put all these pieces together yet. That means there's a huge strategic opening for a company to come in and not just sell a new technology, but to become the one that literally builds the blueprint for the future of construction and city management for the whole region. And in the end, that's really the big, powerful question this whole idea leaves us with. It shifts the whole conversation from just building things a little bit better to actually creating a smarter, more resilient world. It's about using a digital copy to help us perfect our physical reality, giving us the incredible ability to fix tomorrow's problems today.